I'm proud to say that this is our 14th season of Fox Sports Outdoors, and by the end of the year, we will have showed you 15 brand new locations where we've never stepped foot or launched a boat in before. And this week is one of those. It's a crappie fishing destination we've never been to before, but a great test tube to show you a great warm weather crappie fishing technique. Come on, let's get it going. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
It's time for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey everybody, let's go fishing. I'm so happy to have you along for this week's episode, and I'm really excited to share with you some information that's going to help you put more fish in your fish basket, on your stringer, and on your dinner table this week. Every year during the warm weather months, the most reliable way I know of to locate and catch crappie is by fishing brush piles. Some man-made, some natural, but they all hold crappie during the warm weather months from May through about October. On this week's show, we're going to give you a step-by-step instructional way to go about locating some crappie of your very own. And to do that, hey, I want to show you something. This is a lake that's located south and east of the Temple and Belton area in central Texas. Welcome to Lake Granger. It's about a 4,000 acre Corps of Engineers lake. And as you can see behind me here, it's got some rocky points. It's got some brush around the shorelines. And we'll kind of walk around this way. This is the courtesy dock, and you can see on this side, it's kind of got some steep bluff banks falling off. It's got some deep water, some shallow. It's going to be a really good test tube for us to show you this method of locating and catching crappie. So I'm really excited about showing you the lake today, and while we're doing that, we're going around the region for your local fishing and lake reports for this week from our expert team of insider reporters. Let's get it all started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are highlighting Saturday as the best fishing opportunity over the Labor Day weekend. Conditions are listed as good with peak times beginning at 2:55 a.m. and 3:16 p.m. Expect the sun to rise at 7:04 and set at 7:47. And the moon will only be 11% visible. Stay with us for fishing news from around the area.
Well, we've made it out in the boat, and there is some gear that you're going to need if you're going to catch these crappie off these brush piles. Beginning with a way to get off the shore, you've got to have a boat. It doesn't have to be the top-end Nitro Z20 like mine, but you need a John boat, a canoe, a kayak, some way to get off the shore. Secondly, you need some good sonar, some good electronics. Now, this is my Lowrance HDS Gen 3 system, and it does everything, and it shows you the brush very, very clearly. As a matter of fact, you can see the brush pile coming into the screen right now. There it is. You're looking for something attached to the bottom with a solid yellow core. That indicates brush. Now, the entry-level Lowrance hook system, much less expensive, will get you on the fish and show you the brush just as well. Next, you need a marker buoy. So I'm going to throw it back there just to get us in the vicinity of where this brush is. And then coming up next, we're going to show you how to home in on that and how to catch the crappie out of it. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Lose, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
There's one. That's a good crappie. All right. Well, we have one aboard. Hey everybody, we made it out here on Granger Lake and got a good crappie right off the bat. That would be a good keeper if we were keeping them. We're not keeping them today. I don't feel like cleaning them, and I got a big mess of them in the freezer. So that one's going back. Well, let me give you the first hint about this technique. We got that marker buoy out, and the interesting thing I did was threw it off to the side of the brush pile, so it's not right on top of the pile. That way I can work the boat around over here on top of the brush pile without getting all tangled up in that buoy with my trolling motor or my outboard motor. The second thing about Doing this style of fishing is a vertical presentation, so you literally want to get straight up and down over the top of the brush. If you cast the bait, you're going to be pulling horizontally into the brush pile. You'll get snagged every single cast. If you drop it straight down, you can take up that slack once it gets in the top of that brush, easy lift it up, and if you feel the brush, you can shake your rod tip a little bit, and most of the time it'll come through the brush. If you're fishing vertically, you can get it loose, and most of the time that's when you're going to get a bite, is when you pull into the brush, you shake it loose very gently. You've got a piece of brush here, you've got your bait 3 or 4 inches from it, that's right where the fish is, and he hammers it. Vertically only, no horizontal, no casting. That will get you bit and catch you the most crappie in these brush piles. Here's some fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you by all of our great sponsors throughout this past summer. Catfish Bay, Chickasaw Point Golf Club, Highport Marina, Little Glasses Resort, Bridgeview Marina, and the Lake Texoma Association. Also the good folks at Travel OK. Now this week we're going to go out to world famous Lake Fork for some bass fishing because the 20th annual Mad Dog Moore Memorial Bass Tournament is being held on Saturday, September 10th. This is a one-day team event with a 5-fish limit. You'll be able to weigh in 1 over and 4 unders for your total weight. So let's get started. Your 4 unders, a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, and or a Texas rigged or wacky rigged Cinco ought to get you some unders if you'll fish it in shallow water, 3 to 6 feet deep around submerged grass near timber. You'll have to hunt for the grass. There's not as much as there used to be, but you can find it. Your bigger fish, DD22s, the XD series of crankbaits. Offshore on the humps, you'll find them in about 15 to 18 feet of water, and you should be able to catch some nice bass getting near that over mark. That's been this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by all of our wonderful sponsors from the Oklahoma area, including Highport, Chickasaw Point, Little Glasses Resort, Bridgeview Marina, Catfish Bay, and of course the Lake Texoma Association. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report, and my 25-year-old monthly magazine has once again been named the #1 outdoor publication in Texas. Whether you fish or hunt, each month our team of top professionals will tell you where to go, what to expect once you get there, and how to do it a little bit better. Pick up a copy of the September issue, now on sale on newsstands, or subscribe and save at TexasOutdoorsJournal.com or call 800-222-4TOJ. Well, the last holiday of summer is upon us. The question is, will anglers forsake the rod to pick up the shotgun as dove seasons open in the north and central zones? This weekend and next, the afternoon-only shoots in the special white-winged dove area is also available. On the lower coast, anglers may opt for a cast and blast. Now, on the middle and upper coast, the south zone dove season doesn't open until later this month. Birds are working in Sabine and Galveston bays. Both jetties are holding a variety of fish. Islands and flats, either side of the Corpus Christi Ship Channel and north of Mud Island, are showing good signs of active fish being caught from grass and gut areas as well as along the shorelines. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 high tides and just 1 low. Sunday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Doing this brush pile fishing, once you get that jig down there and let it hit the bottom or hit the top of the brush pile, you want to give it a little slack, lift that rod tip very gently. If one doesn't bite it, drop the rod tip, give it a little hop, like that. You got it. All right, that is a good one right there. All right, there you go. So it's that little pop of the rod tip that will many times make that crappie bite. So the deal is, let's let him go back right there. So here's the deal. You've got this jig, and by the way, you want to pull your knot around to where the bait will hang horizontally in the water like that. You don't want to let the knot get pulled around where the jig hangs vertical like that. You want to slide that knot back toward the hook and get it to hang this way. Now, so the crappie's sitting by the brush. You drop it in there. If he doesn't bite it at first, you want to not lift it and make it fall. You want to drop it, pop that rod tip and pull it back to the same spot. Drop it, pop it, and pull it back to the same spot, and he'll just reach out there and grab it. Hey, let's get you some fishing and lake reports.
So who better to ask this week where to go fishing other than Oklahoma's homegrown Tommy Biffle and Jason Christie? Here's what they had to say.
Well, you know, if I was fishing right now at home, I'd be at probably Fort Gibson. Fishing's been good all summer. You know, the bug bite's been good all year, so that'd be my pick. What'd be your pick, Jason?
It'd be hard. It's hard for me to decide between 10 Killer and Grand Lake. Gibson's even, I'm hearing a lot of good things over there. It seems like the weights over there all year have been really high, but people think it's hot. And actually for me, I think those fish go shallow, and you can do the same things on all three lakes and catch fish.
I also asked them what's something unique that they might be throwing this time of year.
One of the things that I do on the lakes is throw a frog. You know, I throw the pad crasher. Everybody thinks everything's deep. You know, you can run shade. A lot of the fish have seen spooks and things like that throughout the year. And something more subtle, you know, a frog's a good thing. It kind of tricks them a little bit. And like I said, a lot of the fish are moving shallow, and you know, on a full moon, the brim spawn. But lots of reasons. It's just one of the baits. You know, I catch a lot of big ones on in August.
Well, you know, the frog, everybody thinks it's for grass and vegetation, and you know, we know better. We know it's a really good bait to throw in the shade in clear water or whatever kind of lake you're on.
Yeah, you can skip docks, trees, and the lake don't have to be high. You can just go on the bank. The only thing that kills a frog, in my opinion, is wind. You want, you know, you want
Be pretty calm.
somewhat calm conditions.
You know, a lot of times if you catch a few crappie out of a brush pile and they stop biting, sometimes they'll just kind of spook a little bit and move off to the side of the brush or up over the top of it. You can still catch them by swimming the bait through. So you put it down there and you just start a steady lift of that rod tip, higher, 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 and then one grabs it like that. Good one. Wow, that's cool. So I actually saw some of those fish fanning out on my sonar, on my Lowrance HDS up there, and I could tell that they were kind of getting spooked a little bit. And many times they just rise up above the brush. So you put the jig down in the brush, and then once again, you want to keep that knot pulled back. And you just start a slow, steady swim, up, 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 up. They feed up. They don't like to feed down, they feed up. So you keep raising it, and a lot of times they'll keep following it and finally get it. So if you hit a lull, you hit a dead spot, just start moving around and fan out around the edges and over the top, and a lot of times you can just keep right on catching them. Hey, we'll be back to Granger Lake in Central Texas, brush pile fishing for crappie, right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. Motor Guide Trolling Motors, because accuracy matters. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made. And Fox Sports Outdoors is driven by Fort Worth Nissan and Lone Star Toyota.
Go. There we go. All right. There's just a good little toad for you. Back he goes. See my spot right there? I've had to move. Caught a bunch off one brush pile and it slowed down, and that's the thing. You've got to keep hopping. Hop from pile to pile to pile until you find the one that's hot and the one that's got fish on it. Here's the next key though. Every brush pile has got a sweet spot on it. You may have a whole brush pile, but there's going to be one little key piece, a little branch sticking out, a trunk, a point coming out off the end of it, a shallow spot up on the top. Somewhere on that brush pile is going to be one little spot where the crappie tend to congregate and they keep migrating back to. So what you want to do is fish your way around it, use your trolling motor, ease your way around it, and use your buoy, your marker buoy, as a base, and then figure out where the sweet spot is. So like that one was about a boat length straight away from the shoreline in a straight line, and that's where that crappie was. So you can bet I'll back off, try that exact spot again, and I'll keep fishing my way around till I find the spot on the spot. Once you find that, you can even drop a second marker buoy down on the best spot on the brush pile, and you can just hammer fish after fish a lot of times. Speaking of fish after fish, Here's an insider reporter with more lake reports and fishing reports for this week.
Hey friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox, Louisiana fishing report. I tell you what, today was a hectic day. Rain on and off all day long, but yet Captain Kevin and Captain Preston went out. Keep in mind, no live bait at all because of all this fresh water. The shrimpers are out there catching lots of shrimp. As soon as they put them in the vats, they die. So they went out there with no live shrimp today. I tell you what, this speckled trout must be Cajun speckled trout because they are hard-headed. If you don't throw a live shrimp, you very seldom going to catch any right now. They struggle to catch speckled trout. Matter of fact, I think they boated about a dozen between the two boats. But don't panic. They went out and had a great catch of redfish, as you can see here. They did good on the redfish. Houma, they catching a few fish. Captain Bill Lake's catching some nice redfish down there in Houma. Shell Beach, Delacroix, they catching some nice fish in. If the wind don't blow and you can get offshore, they catch a nice speckled trout offshore. But the wind's been blowing. Keep in mind, we're only about a week, maybe 2 weeks away from the ling moving in. Captain Kevin and Captain Preston went out and gave it a little try the other day. They caught some nice ling. They caught 2, that's all, 2. But again, that's a good sign. They're starting to move in. Keep in mind, if you want bass, you better go north. Don't go anywhere south of Interstate 10 right now, from Louisiana all the way to, say, Mississippi. Tell you what, friends, right now, fishing is slow down here, but we're going every day. We're catching a few fish, having a good time. You want to join us? Come on down.
There we go. A good one. Well, we're catching them. I tell you, we've caught a bunch of fish today, and you haven't seen half the fish we've actually caught today. We've only been able to show you a few of them, but just some good keeper crappie like that. No huge ones or anything. Before we go to the next break, I want to show you one of my best tricks, one of my best techniques. If you're going to be a good brush pile crappie angler, you're going to get snagged a lot. If that jig head is not in that brush and getting snagged, then you're not where the fish are. So you've got to be able to get it loose. Here's one of my best tricks. I'm going to pitch it in here and get it hung in the top of this brush pile, and then I want to show you how to get it loose. Okay, so I've intentionally snagged my bait down in that brush. So what you want to do is use your trolling motor and get straight up and down over the top of where you're snagged. Next thing you want to do is open your bail, give yourself some slack, reach in here, grab it with one of your fingers on your reel, pull it back on a slack line, and pop it like a bow and arrow. Pop like that, and it came right loose. It will do it about 90% of the time. If you don't pull and snag it too hard, just get over the top, give yourself slack. Don't pop it like a bass fiddle on a tight line. You want to give it slack, pull it back, shoot it like a bow and arrow, pull it back again, and eventually it'll pop itself loose if you're straight up and down over the top of it.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button, and see lots of how-to and product videos by clicking the how-to button. Also, stay up to date with the latest fishing news, videos, and photos by clicking the follow button on our Twitter feed. And get lots of that same info by clicking the like button on our Facebook page. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. Costa sunglasses, see what's out there. Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for guidance from professional anglers. This week, David wants to know, what determines how tightly I should set my drag? For some advice, we found Bassmaster Elite Angler Jason Christie.
I would set your drag depending on the bait that you're throwing. If I'm throwing anything with treble hooks, I want to be able to grab the line and pretty much pull it, with a little bit of tension. I'm flipping, I want it as tight as I can get it. Of course, I use bigger line. In that in-between stuff, like a spinnerbait or casting a jig, I want to, when I set the hook, I don't want the drag to slip until it gets, the rod gets back here. And what that does is, for guys like me that set the hook really, really hard, it keeps us from breaking our line. you know, if you don't set the hook real hard, then you can go ahead and tighten your drag down. You just need to remember that when you get that big fish on and there's not any cover, you need to loosen the drag a little bit.
Thank you, Jason. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see which big fish photo gets someone a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, it's time to give away a pair of Costa sunglasses to the winner of this week's Costa Catch of the Week contest. Here's the winner. He's Nick Appling of Austin, Texas, showing a 90-pound tarpon he caught at Port Mansfield, Texas, and get this, caught it on a fly rod. If you want a chance to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the Costa Catch of the Week box on the right side of the home page, and follow the instructions. You must be at least 18 years of age to enter and to win. And if you'd like to see all of the great Costa frame and lens styles, go back to the Costa logo on the front page of our site, click on that, and you'll see everything, including the 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses in all the different colors and shades. And you'll see all of the frame styles and colors, including the frame I was wearing on this week's show. It's called Harpoon. On the Academy Right Stuff, it's the right gear to catch crappie out of brush piles on your favorite lake. And it begins with a great crappie spinning rod. This is the Lew's Wally Marshall Pro Series rod. It's custom designed by Mr. Crappie himself to catch crappie in just these circumstances. I like the 6.5 foot medium light action, and I like to pair it with the Lew's Wally Marshall Signature Series reel that goes perfectly with it. I've got it spooled with 8-pound test Stren fluorocast line. And as far as the lure is concerned, we used the Bobby Garland Mo-Glo jig head in either the 1/24th or 1/16th ounce size. You can go even heavier if the wind is blowing or if you're in deep water. And we put on that a plastic body. This is the Bobby Garland Slab Slayer in the small size, and the black with yellow tail seemed to be the ticket today. And one other key piece of gear, you need a couple of 3 marker buoys to not only mark the brush pile, but the sweet spot. The spot on the spot where all the crappie are hanging out. I really hate that our country seems so divided right now. We seem to be split right down the middle on all kinds of issues, such as how we support law enforcement or which Lives Matter group we might believe in or subscribe to. There's pressure on everybody to take either one side or the other. And while there are issues that we should never compromise, including respect for the law and those who protect us, there is a way to have a mandate to be kind and caring to everyone. There's a way to disagree with someone else's viewpoint and still be compassionate, loving, and caring about them at the same time. I hope you learned something today from our tutorial on how to locate those brush piles in your favorite reservoir or lake and how to catch your own crappie out of them. We will see you next week. Until then, from Granger Lake in Central Texas, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.